just wanted to share my thoughts concerning this life and then the afterlife, which is either with the Lord in paradise forever and ever in perfect peace and no more pain and suffering, or in the presence of the Lord where the smoke of your torment ascends up forever and ever. And I got to thinking, rather, man, whatever we have to go through in this life, some people might have it slightly easier in your point of view than others. But the things that we have to go through in this life, even if it's to the shedding of blood, but it may be something that's no friends, no family. Maybe you won't get to have the type of financial standing that you wish to have in comparison. I mean, you'll always be taken care of by the Lord until he calls you to go through a certain thing or allows you to go through a certain thing. But the suffering in this life, even if you live to be 90 and you just have a life full of turmoil and stress and persecution, and real persecution, not just, oh, your job sucks and people may mistreat you. That's not for the name of Christ, man. More than likely. I'm talking about real persecution because of the Lord, because you serve God. You are being punished on this earth by others. And you got to thinking that, man, 60, 70 years go by in the blink of an eye, but in the moment, it feels like a long time, right? But if you sow unto righteousness, you'll reap rewards, right? And in heaven, when 60 years go by, it's going to be the blink of an eye because it's for eternity. So you got to think like, man, you're exchanging this super short, vaporous life for an eternity. What would you give up? Would you sell all that you have for that pearl that's worth everything? Would you give up everything for the most valuable thing that you can't even earn? And when you start pondering on that, you're like, man, this is really nothing. I mean, the worst they can do is kill me. You know, the worst I can do, like, of course, you can be sick and suffering and illness and all these other things and starved out and whatnot. And it sounds easier when you're not going through it, but when you're going through it, that's when the real test starts. But even in that moment, if you are studying to show yourself approved unto God, a workman who needeth not to be afraid, rightly dividing the word of truth, and you can be prepared, you can re-encourage yourself like David by the word of the Lord. You get to thinking like, man, it's nothing. Like the trials of this life, I mean, Jesus went through and he was perfect. He was tempted in all ways, yet he knew no sin. And all he's asking you to do is stop whatever you're doing and then follow him. And he's not going to lead you astray. Like, man, this quick life in exchange for eternity, that's an easy bargain. You trade 8 to sometimes all the way up to 16 hours of your life for some money just to feed you for one meal. And you're going to be hungry again. But trading this life, which is but a few decades, and to you it might only be another year. You might only have another year and a half left. You might only have 2 months. You don't know. But be gracious, as far as, estimation, and say 60, 70 years, 80 years more in exchange for eternity. We're talking trading 80 years for 1,000,000 decades, 1,000,000 decades, 1 billion, tens of billions of decades later. You are still reaping the rewards from a trade-off of a few decades in this life, which are going to be fleeting. He's going to wipe away our tears. We will suffer no more. We won't be hungry anymore. We're not trading it for a meal. We're not trading it for a car that's going to get us to that place that we need to go to in order to keep the car. No, we're talking about heavenly rewards in the presence of God, not having to fear any longer that we may be destroyed because he has saved us from our sin, and now we are reaping those rewards because we sowed with the seed that was in the good soil. We then produce fruit, whether it be 100-fold, 50-fold, or even 10-fold. We did those things. We endured, and we could trust that we're not going to endure unto the shedding of blood without a reward in the end, unless you turn away. You turn away, then all your righteousness, says Ezekiel, will be forgotten, and all your iniquity will be poured back onto you. But if you're unrighteous and you forsake your unrighteousness and do that which is righteous before the Lord, then your unrighteousness will be forgotten and blotted out and washed away, and righteousness will be accounted unto you. By that true faith, which is proven by your works through Jesus Christ. You know, that short amount of time on this earth for eternity. Sin is never worth it. You get the pleasures and then that's it. Your reward is there and then poof, you got to do it again. The appetite of the wicked is never satisfied. This is what the scripture says. Their belly is like a bottomless pit. You always want more. The flesh is never gratified. In the moment you're like, I get to feed into my gluttony or my drug use, or, you know, I get to treat people how I want, or I get to just say what I feel, or treat people a certain way, or whatever it may be. I don't feel like reading. And then boom, you get whatever reward that is, if you even get one, and then you burn. And you could say, oh, you know, God is forcing you. No, he's not. It's just because it's in our nature to do that which is good, and you turned away, you began to love the things which God hates. You began to love the things that are against your nature. You've perverted your own mind. So now you're having a twisted view that, like, it's slavery, but the things he wants of us are only good for us. So we turn away from the things that harm us. Then we also get to escape the fiery torment, which we deserve anyway, even if we begin to do righteousness. And then we're going to even get rewarded for doing the things we were supposed to be doing anyway. I mean, it's only a win for us, and it's a lose for you if you don't do it under all circumstances. Is it worth the trade-off? You're willing to trade a third of your life for sleep, a third of your life for work, and then a third of your life for whatever you feel like. So 60% of your life, or you get to trade this life for an eternity. You can't compare those mathematics. One is an indefinite number of time in exchange for such a finite moment. Choose this day who you'll serve.